Hi guys, this is Dormouse03, and this is The Evil Within, Akumu difficulty, Chapter 4. So at the very beginning here, I like to run up and crouch to the side, and the big guy is going to bust through that door, and then he's going to turn. For whatever reason, he can't see you there. So if you just go to that side, he won't see you, and you can sneaky kill him really quick and easy. And pick up the bottle, because you always need a bottle, except when you can have a hatchet. So there's a map fragment in this little room. I was having some trouble picking it up. He wanted to open the chest instead, so we're going to disarm the trap on the chest and pick up, I think there's a flash bolt, a grenade, and our 2 trap parts that it doesn't want to let me pick up. And then we can grab the map fragment. That should be number 5 if you've gotten them all. And we're going to do a little bit of looting in this area here. This chapter is not too bad, especially this first part. There are not too many enemies. It's pretty good as far as just being a lot of places to explore and stuff to pick up, and only a few enemies that you really have to worry about. So there's nothing right in this area that you need to be concerned with. And after the long, slow plotting journey that was Chapter 3, Chapter 4 is kind of a little sigh of relief here, because there's a long sort of slow section here at the beginning, and not that you don't have to be vigilant for the few enemies that there are on this map, because, you know, anything will kill you, especially on this mode, but you don't have to be as concerned. So we're just gonna go through here and pick up whatever stuff we can. There's actually not a lot that I'm able to pick up right here at the beginning, because I already had so much stuff from the end of the last chapter, and that's a good thing, because that means that I am conserving resources really well, and it means that I can go through this first section and be able to still be sort of full up on ammo and matches and things. So Chapter 4 is has the arrival of a new enemy type that we're going to meet, and then we're going to see again a little bit later on, and that is the invisible guys. And so you know that they turned up here in Chapter 4 on survival, and also in Chapter 5, and they're going to show up again a little bit later. Not too many of them, but I remember when I played this on survival and I saw that enemy type, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hope that there's not a lot of these guys. And they were really only used the once, and so I think they show up one more time toward the end of the game. So yet another example of a cool thing that this game mode does, that I really agree with as far as difficulty settings. I feel like that's a really underused way of changing things up for the difficulty settings, is to add in, change the enemy types, make the enemy types a little different. There's your next map fragment, number 6. And then we're going to get map fragment number 7 here in just a second. But anyway, as I was saying, I feel like that's something that not enough games use. I feel like too many games, their idea of making a hard difficulty is doing the thing where enemies take a bajillion bullets to die and you have no health. And there it is, map fragment number 7. Cut out a little cutscene there, and I'm going to show you, reap the rewards of the keys that we picked up from chapter 3. Like the syringe that we can't use. And the only thing that I'm really going to be picking up from these lockers at this point is the green gel. I'm going to save all of the ammunition and stuff from the lockers until I get to a spot where I need it. I feel like those things those are resources that you should not pick up unless you get to a section where you are having trouble. And then you can go in and say, okay, so I have this backup stock of stuff. If I'm struggling because I don't have enough ammo for things, now I have this stock of stuff that I can pick up. Rather than picking it up now when I'm already pretty stocked and am not going to be using as much, stuff, and run the risk of I pick that stuff up from my lockers, and then there might be other ones that spawn in the levels that I can't pick up because I have used the ones from the lockers, which just wastes resources. So that's my reasoning anyway, as I upgrade my ammo capacity for my pistol bullets and things, and just pick up a couple little upgrades here. Again, I am prioritizing the ammo. I'm prioritizing a little bit of like damage and clip capacity on my pistol and shotgun, and critical hit as well, so that there's a chance that if I shoot someone in the face, they will actually die. And that is kind of what I'm going to be doing. I'll also be prioritizing doing things like upgrading the crossbow bolts a little bit too, especially the flash one, because having that last for a longer period of time is really good. So there's a checkpoint. I really didn't mean to trigger that checkpoint right then, which kind of made me a little bit angry, because I had planned on tripping it after I did this, so that I wouldn't have to worry about failing the next little sequence. But that guy saw me. I tried to sneak around him and failed. So I used my bottle that I had picked up for safety, and was able to bottle that guy in the face. You can save that woman that he throws onto the fire, but I don't think it really rewards you for that. It's just kind of a neat little, like a thing that you can do. But in this house are some harpoons for our crossbow bolt. And now the harpoon bolts are kind of cool. If you upgrade them all the way, and it takes a lot of upgrade gel to do that, but if you do upgrade them all the way, the last upgrade gives them fire. And so effectively you have made your own fire bolts, which is very cool, and it kills most of the standard haunted in one shot. So that upgrade makes those bolts a whole lot more useful and powerful than they are normally. As they are right now, I use them as kind of a last resort, because while they can kind of knock enemies down and pin them to walls and things for a little while, they usually do not kill the enemies right away. Even when you shoot them in the head, a lot of times they will not instant kill enemies. And they're much harder to aim and get a good shot off than something like the pistol or the shotgun or the sniper. And so those bolts for me are kind of like, well, if I don't want to use my other ammo, or if I know I'm in a situation where there's only a couple of enemies, I might use those. In any case, this is the doctor's brother, and I pulled out my shotgun because I don't want to take any chances with this guy. He's big, and he's right in your face when you come out of this little cutscene. And so I'm going to immediately just pull my shotgun up and fire. Knock him down and light him up with a match. So that is that. And then if you look at this little x-ray thing over here, it shows you that there's a key inside this body, and you have to do a little autopsy here to get your first key on this level. And, you know, well worth it. It's not really... I mean, we spent 1 shotgun shell on that guy and 1 match. And this is a key that will potentially get you, you know, some upgrade gel. It will potentially get you a bunch of shotgun bullets, a bunch of pistol bullets, you know. So, I think it's a good trade for killing that guy. And... so we're just gonna search this house a little bit. There is one other haunted in here, but he doesn't show up until you go into one of the rooms upstairs. So you don't have to worry running around downstairs. There's nobody else in this house that can hurt you. And I believe that after I get done checking each room 4 times, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make a safety save, because I hadn't really searched upstairs that much in my other playthroughs, so I was a little uncertain of the pattern of the enemies up there. I thought there was more than one of them, but there's only the one. So I made a little safety save there, but that's not 100% necessary. This guy has a pretty good pattern that I figured out, that you shouldn't have too much trouble with him if you follow what I'm gonna do right now. But there's a bunch of stuff in this house, and when I played through the game the first time, I missed this entire section because I went straight to the place that you're supposed to go. And I missed all this stuff, like the doctor's brother, and the achievement for killing him and everything. It's kind of sad. But anyway, if you go in that farther door, the guy will spawn in here, and while he's busy chopping the door down, you can stab him in the back of the head. So that is a good way to take care of that, and you also get his hatchet, which is great because that is going to be a 1-hit kill on the invisible guy. So that will save us all of our ammo from having to spend on the invisible dudes. If I didn't have this hatchet, you can also use a shotgun blast. So you can kind of... You'll have to probably... practice a couple of times. You'll probably have to practice a couple of times no matter what you do, because just to get the timing on that enemy, it can be a little bit finicky. But it actually took me a couple tries, even using the axe, just to sort of get an idea of where he was going to be when. Because there is a little delay from the time that he kicks open the door to the time that he'll be on you, right? So it's a little bit tricky there, but you do get a checkpoint right before it, so it's not too bad. These bodies, you want to be sneaking as you come in here and burn them, because I believe all 3 of them come back to life. You know, and I could be wrong on that, guys, but I seem to remember on my survival run, or one of my survival runs when I actually came and checked all these areas, going in there and picking up stuff, and then all 3 of those people chased me out of the room. So I'm pretty sure that they come back. That was just a little bit of upgrade gel, so if you don't feel like wasting 3 matches on those people, for a bit of upgrade gel, then that may not be the best use of resources, but I did it anyway. And so at this point, I'm just going to be going back through, making sure I picked up everything, because you won't be able to come back to this area once you leave. And you want to make sure that you pick up all the stuff, because again, that's going to put you in a really good position coming up, because after you get through this first half of this chapter, things start to kick off, and you're going to start to need your ammo. And that's where having these upgrades that I did in the beginning to upgrade my ammo capacity, to upgrade my matches and everything, so that I can, and saving those resources throughout these first 4 chapters is really going to come in handy, because I'm going to feel stocked for the fights that are coming up in the latter half of this chapter and in chapters 5 and 6. Because there are a bunch of it's like a series of crazy fights, and there is quite a bit of ammo at the beginning of chapter 5 that you can pick up, but then you might use a ton of it. I actually get through that fight. I come through that fight pretty well for ammo. But it could potentially take, a lot of your ammo. So, and in chapter 6, the beginning of that is just a little bit nuts. So, again, you're going to be doing yourself a favor to have more than less. And I probably don't need to convince you of that fact. Because if you're playing this difficulty, you know that you need stuff. So, this is the part with where the invisible guy turns up. And like I said, it took me a couple of tries to get this guy with the hatchet, but I found out that, basically you just run toward the door as soon as it kicks open and swing when you get near it, and he should be about in that spot. And because Sebastian does kind of auto swing toward the enemies, that helps you out. Because he kind of turned to the right there and focused on where the enemy was when I wasn't really sure, because I can't see him. So that's how I dealt with that enemy in chapter 5. And if you don't have a hatchet at this point, a really good strategy for him is to use a flash bolt, because if you flash, he will go visible and he'll be stunned, and you can do the little execution on him, which is fantastic. And so that's a really good strategy for him. You can, like I said, use a shotgun blast to knock him down and then burn him. That works perfectly well. It can just be a little bit finicky, because you're sort of aiming for where you think he is, and if you fire too soon, it might not knock him down, and you might end up losing where he is, the location. So, just preference, but that's my opinion on how to take that guy down. So in this room, if you come over there, you can pull down you can make the blood go away, which makes it a lot easier to run around this room if you need to, which is a very good thing. You want to be able to maneuver in here in case things go badly. I took the time to sort of set up the room the way that I wanted it, so if you pull this lever here, it knocks down 2 cans of flammable stuff, and I kick that over toward the ladder. I'm careful not to kick it off, because it has fallen off before when I kicked it, so I get it into position right there, and then this other one I'm going to position by the door. I disarmed the wire traps. You can use those if you want to, but I would rather have the trap parts at this point, and I'm going to be using the other like spinner trap things as explosive devices to kill enemies. So I'm going to get the trap parts from those wire things. You walk over to that door, it triggers this room to spawn in. And what I'm going to do is immediately shoot the trap that is to my right. I think it may kill somebody, but it at least sort of stuns people to kind of get them off of me right away. I come over here, I pull this, and then you gotta immediately run toward the door because there will be some like spike things coming down on you. I don't know if that killed anyone or hurt anyone, but I did it anyway. And so now we have people coming in after me. And I know some people came in the door right behind me. I'm looking here because I'm going to try to get these people coming in the door. But the door kind of blocks the can. So I wasn't able to shoot it. Wasted a couple of bullets, but that's okay. And we're going to shoot this can with these guys coming up the ladder. And then I have one grenade in my inventory here, and I'm going to throw it down the bottom of the ladder to pick up the guys that have gone down there. I was able to get another guy with the fire from that can, which is great. And then I'm going to hop on over, and I'm going to wait for another enemy to run up, and it's this guy right here, and he's going to get blown up. And so now there's one enemy left, and it is one of the hoodie Ruvik guys. And I thought that he was outside, but if you look at the very bottom corner of the screen, you could see him coming up the stairs. And he is right there beside me. I don't know how I didn't die just then. I guess he was waiting to do his attack or something, but it scared the crap out of me. He was right there, and if you replay that, you'll see him just barely. You can see him in the bottom left corner. But I was lucky. I was able to lure him over toward the door and use that fire barrel on him. But that's kind of the strategy that I used. It took me a couple of tries to get that, and like I said, I did get kind of lucky because I did not see him coming up the stairs. But that is a strategy that it definitely works because you're using a lot of pretty powerful weapons to kill things. There's also a little oil right there that you can set on fire to kill some people. You just got to be real careful with it because it will kill you. If you're standing near it when you light the match, I have died before doing that. So that lever there, if you pull it twice, the first pull makes a body come down the chute on the left. The second pull makes a statue come down the chute on the right here. And so you can go up here and smash the statue and grab your second key. That's the last key on this level. And yeah, that's basically this level finished. There's not much else. There's a little chase sequence, but it's not too bad once you have done it a couple of times. If you've done it a few times on the other difficulties, you should be fine here. It's pretty much exactly the same. She does move maybe a little bit faster, but it is not too bad. So you can just kind of take a breather, relax, and in the knowledge that you've finished chapter 4 for the most part, and have your first pretty tough fight out of the way. There are definitely more to come, and you will get a taste of the hellishness that is coming up in the very next chapter, right? Because if you recall, chapter 5 is where you meet up with Joseph, and you'll have that fight where you and him are fighting off a bunch of zombies, and he can get hurt, and it's just that fight is kind of tricky to get down, but luckily I had some good strategies from my other playthroughs and from when I did that achievement where he had to take no damage, and so it took a couple of tries to get it to work, but it seemed pretty solid. So right here, Laura is going to spawn in. This is your first real encounter with her, and it works exactly the same way it did on Survival. You come down here, this door opens, you can run through it, and you're gonna be just doing the little run away from her. I believe you can kill her on this section, but I wouldn't try it because the lady takes way too much damage. So shut the door, quickly pick up the 2 upgrade gels and the ammo from the ground. He's gonna stop right at that ladder for whatever reason. It's just, I guess, something that's scripted to happen. And then if you quickly get over here, quickly, Sebastian, quickly, you can disarm that trap. And right before you get to the second one, she will get back down, and you do have time to disarm that one. I found out. I decided to risk it because a trap part is a trap part. And you can make it to the elevator there. And then you're not quite finished yet. She's going to spawn in on this body. You can use a match to burn that body, but it's kind of a waste because she'll just spawn in on the one out in this area in front of you anyway, so it's just sort of a waste of a match at that point. And then on this section you have unlimited sprint. You'll notice that as I'm sprinting, the meter does not go down, so you don't have to worry about running out at that particular section. And then the rest of this chapter is just pick up a couple pieces of ammo and make sure to run back up the stairs when Rubik spawns in. And you have completed chapter 4, which is awesome. We are almost a third of the way through the game. Chapters 5 and 6 have some crazy fights in them. That might be kind of frustrating for you. Hopefully, I feel like I have some pretty solid strategies, and so hopefully they will be able to help people who are struggling in those chapters. But that is the end of chapter 4, guys, and we will get to those in the videos to come. So thanks for watching. I hope that it's been helpful or at least entertaining to see me go through this thing. I'm having a fantastic time playing through on this difficulty. I think that it's actually really, it's challenging, but I think really well done for the most part. So thanks for watching again, and I will see you in chapter 5.